All right, beautiful people watching the recording, or for those of you who is going to turn up live, I'm here again for day 2. And this workshop is going to be recorded for the next 24 hours. So I hope everyone get to see day 2 before we get to day 3. No, don't forget to watch the whole thing because there is a sequence to it. Yesterday, we spoke about how negative can diets be in our mindset, in our mental health, in our physical body. And today, we're going to talk about fixing these problems. So yesterday we spoke about a whole lot of problem. Today we're going to talk about solution. And that's one mindset that I want you to get on all the time. Actually, with everything in your life, it's going to be a game changer if you start acting like this in your life. But we're here to talk about nutrition and health and body. So for this for the duration of these workshops, I'm going to focus on that. Okay. Anytime that you find yourself in a pickle, you have a problem, especially if it's a recurring problem, it's present all the time. All the time you're seeing yourself eating takeaways, ordering junk food for being unprepared and too tired, or you see yourself eating because you're emotional. Every time you see yourself facing a problem, instead of focusing on the problem, you have to switch your mindset and start looking at the cause of the problem. What is the solution? Because we tend to get caught in the problem. We keep dragging ourselves around during the day thinking, oh, I'm eating too much. My weight is too high. I need to lose weight. I've been eating too much chocolate. You are constantly thinking about the problem. And our brain forgets to focus on the solution. The results are we go day after day thinking about our problems. So let's get out of the mindset. Let's get out of that space where we think problem and let's start thinking solution. And for solution, you're going to see here with me today, it's very important to understand the root cause of the problem. Okay? If you have a bucket that is leaking, the problem is not that the floor is wet. I mean, it is a problem, really. But how are you going to fix that? Are you going to continue mopping the floor so the floor is no longer wet? Or you're actually going to go in the bucket and boop, fix that hole? Or get rid of the bucket and get a new one? It might sound obvious when I put it like that. You wouldn't do that with a bucket, but we tend to do that with our health. Think about it. What are the problems that you are experiencing at the moment, and what have you been doing to fix or even to understand what's the root cause of that problem? Yeah, bring pen and paper. Today we are actually going to get stuff done. If you don't have pen and paper, you need to go and get it. If you have the workbook, you just need the workbook. There is an exercise there for day 2. You can use coloring pencils if you want to, or you can get a pencil, a normal pencil, or you can get a pen. Okay, I'll give you a second to get that done. And jumping straight onto it, reminding you that this workshop is for those who yesterday learned that they have to stop dieting immediately. If you did not get that message, rewind, watch it again, get in touch with me, and then we keep on moving. It's not for anyone looking for quick fixes. I don't work with quick fixes. I don't work with diet protocols. I don't work with immediate weight loss, because all of these have temporary effects, as we saw yesterday. It just pushes you towards the yo-yo effect or the effeito sanfona. Today, we're going to talk about solving problems. We're going to do this practical exercise, and any questions are welcome at any time in the chat. Okay, troubleshooting. What is troubleshooting? It's the art of getting to the very bottom of the cause. When you have a problem, for example, I'm turning my smart TV, I'm trying to watch Netflix. Netflix is not working. What do? Do I keep pressing on and off again in the remote control? Shut the TV off, shut the TV on and see if it's working. Oh, it's not working. I'm going to shut it off and I'm going to shut it on again. Turn it on again. It's not working. You're not going to get caught in that loop, right? You're going to backtrack a little bit. You're going to say, have I paid my bill? Is my subscription still on? still valid? Is my internet on? Did I pay for the internet account? Is the internet password correct? Is that ability to take a few steps back and understand what's happening. The troubleshooting then is understanding the root cause of a problem and working on it. So we stop mopping that floor that is wet all the time. There are two things here to think about it. Sometimes the problem that we're trying to solve has a very obvious root cause, and it's very clear to you, and you're comfortable with that. You may, for example, have noticed that after Christmas, you put on a couple of kilos, but you know exactly where it came from. There was way too many stuffed drinks. There was way too many catch up with friends, way too many desserts. You know exactly where it came from. And when it's obvious, it's easier for us to deal with because you can simply go back to your normal healthy eating and that problem will most likely go away unless you keep on doing over and over again. But the thing that is the trickiest is when that problem is not so obvious. And that's those tricky cases that I love working with. The not so obvious is when you say to me, I eat well, but I don't lose weight. You're doing the right thing. You think that you're doing the right thing at least, but you're not losing weight. I sleep, but I don't rest. I go to bed early, but I can't sleep. I take supplements, but I don't see any effects. I do everything right, but I don't see any results. Those are the tricky ones. We cannot simply accept this sentence for life. We have to take those few steps back. Like when I said yesterday, for example, that eating well very often is not enough to lose weight. If you are eating well, but you're lacking protein, you're lacking carbohydrates to give you energy, so basically you're just eating lettuce and tomato, right? That typical diet, or drinking green juices. You're going to have a whole lot of other problems. Your metabolism is going to slow down. We spoke about it yesterday. So we backtrack. If you're doing everything right, but you're not seeing results, what is it that's underneath the problem? Then we come in with that troubleshooting protocol. We identify what's wrong, but most importantly, the cause of the problem. Because, let's talk about a wheel, for example. If you give me a wheel and you say, look, this wheel here is going to turn smoothly. It's a wheel, right? So wheels should turn. But that wheel, it's a bit wonky. It's out of whack. It's a bit twisted. Do you agree that's not going to run? So it's not enough having all the structure, all the knowledge about something, if there's a structure that's very out of whack. Okay, you need that balance, you need harmony for that wheel to turn and take you from A to B. There's no point of having the latest bike. You know everything about the theory of riding a bike. You go on YouTube and you type how to ride a bike, and then you read about it, you watch videos. But then when you hop on the bike, you cannot find the balance. And that's the same thing with our body, with diet. There's so much information these days. And those informations are quite contradictory most of the time. They're telling you what to do without knowing you, without knowing who you are, without knowing your past, your relationship with food, the way you relate emotionally to food. So they're pretty much ignoring all the pillars of healthy eating. And they're giving you a bike with square wheel. And that's when you do everything right because you think that you're doing the right thing someone told you to do, or you read about it, but you don't see any results because this is not tailored to you. So with the pillars of healthy eating, you have this beautiful, gorgeous mandala. Many pillars in there, and we are going to break down each one of those pillars. I want you to get that pencil or that pen, and we are going to start coloring that wheel from inside out. And I'm going to show you how. There is a grading system inside each one of those columns that goes from 1 to 10. And you're going to grade yourself in everything that I ask you. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm going to ask you how much you're exercising. And then you can go and put from 1 to 10, Where do you fit in that scale? So if you're going like half of the time, you can go 5. If you're going more, towards 10. If you're going less, towards 0, towards 1. And if you're not doing it at all, leave it at 0. It's fine to have a column that is empty with no coloring in it, okay? You have to be honest. As I said before, this is a non-judgmental environment. From me, you're never going to get judgment. And I ask everyone here that's present to not judge. Okay, because that's why we're here. This is a safe environment for us to learn. So let's do the first one, and I'll explain exactly how it works, and then it's going to be easier. For the first part of your wheel, we're going to start at the very top as if it was 12 o'clock, and we're going to work towards the clockwise direction, okay? You're going to name that column as meals. In between the 2 arrows, you're going to put meals. Okay, we're going to start talking about your meals. In the first column, what's your ability like to plan, organize, and prepare yourself? From 0 to 10, how would you score yourself when we're talking about planning and organizing and preparing? We're talking about food. We're talking about your weekly menu. We're talking about your schedule for the week when it comes down to anything related to health, body, well-being. The meditation slot that that you're planning to do all the time, or going to the gym, or bulk cooking for the week, or going shopping for fresh vegetables. From 0 to 10, how well are you planning and organizing? So if you're giving yourself 5, just color the wheel until the number 5. If you're giving yourself 9, color pretty much the whole thing, just leave that 10 out. Okay, and now we're going to move to the next column, which is your ability to cook at home. From 0 to 10, how often are you eating at home? And there's nothing wrong if you don't get to 10. Absolutely nothing wrong, because we don't need to eat at home every single day. But we need to find balance. Yeah. So this is a diagnostic tool. Be honest and color the column. We are going to move into rituals. So between the next 2 arrows, you're going to write rituals. How's your ability to eat with mindfulness? How often do you sit in front of your meal and you feel yourself present? You're not busy, you're not doing another task, you are not concerned about something else, you're not typing on your phone. You're actually tasting the food. You feel your sense of satiety, which is when your body says, I'm full. You understand your hunger. From 0 to 10, where are you? And from 0 to 10, where are you when you are chewing your food? Do you chew well? Do you feel like the food turns into mush before you actually swallow it? Or you eat fast? If you eat fast, you're more towards the 0. If you eat well, you're towards 10. Now, moving down to the next slot, right down between the 2 arrows, eat better. Note that I put here not less, because it's not about eating less, it's about eating better. If you're eating a whole lot of veggies, you're eating more, but you're eating better. Yeah? Opt for quality and variety. How's the quality and variety of your meals from 0 to 10? And next, you eat without feeling guilty. How often do you find yourself regretting what you ate? Now, if you have a very good relationship with food and you always like eating and feeling good about it, you're going to go to 10. But if you're feeling guilty and regretful and remorseful, point towards 0. Next, hunger, satiety, nutrition. Where are you when we're talking about respecting your feeling of satiety, which means you stop eating when you feel full. Okay, that goes from anywhere from that person who always eats and has to go to the sofa and open up the buttons in the pants because it can barely sit, because they can barely sit. It's uncomfortable. It makes you feel bloated. It gives you reflux. When you go and lay down in bed, the food starts coming back on your throat. If you are doing great and stop eating every time you feel like you're full, give yourself a 10 or anywhere in between. How well do you feel your body nourished? In terms of eating, in terms of nutrition, do you feel like you're doing a good job nourishing your body? Is there an abundance of vegetables, fruit, nuts, seeds, whole grains, water, lots of water? There's different colors, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds. The more color in our plate, the more well-nourished we are, because each color has a different nutrient profile. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Mother Nature is an amazing thing. The more variety, the more nourished you are. Next, sustainability. So when we're talking about realistic goals, that's your next column. Where do you think you are from 1 to 10? Do you find yourself focusing on those, I don't know, 20 kilos you want to lose, 30 kilos you want to lose? Or I want to be a bodybuilder, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. And any one of us can do. But is that realistic for you right now? Or you see yourself breaking your goals in SMART goals. Remember, tiny little steps that are realistic, they are measurable, they are attainable, and they are easy as well, because it's much easier for us to plan on losing 250 grams a week than saying 10 kilos in 2 months. Yeah? How are you in that column? And the next one is patience. That one I don't need to explain. How's your patience levels with yourself, with your goals, with your journey? How fast do you want things to happen? How fast do you want things to go? Or you find yourself trusting the process and saying, no, I'm doing the right thing. I'm seeing small results. And those results might not necessarily be on the scales. It might be on your well-being, might be inside of you. How's your patience? The next one, it's mindset. That column is divided in 3 parts. The first one is the way you deal with stress and emotions. Do you find yourself like if you were, I mean, you could go to a monastery, or you can go to Nepal and live like a monk. Monk? I think so. I think that's how you say it. You know, you're able to deal with your stress, your emotions. You know how to navigate them beautifully. Give yourself a 10. But if you find yourself losing it every time that something happens, anytime that you are either sad or depressed or angry, something goes wrong, you have a stressful day, how do you deal with that? Do you just lose it? Do you let those cortisol levels drown you? Do you look for food as comfort? Do you go for sweets? Do you go for comfort foods? Do you go for alcoholic drinks or maybe a cigarette? How do you deal with your stress and your emotions? Next one, how is your support and your influence network? So your support network is the people that you have around you. Influence network is anyone who you let influence you. That could be either online or in person. Generally speaking, do you find yourself well supported? Or do you find that every single day is a battle against people who surround you? So if you find that you have a beautiful, gorgeous, supportive network, give yourself a 10. If not, go towards 0. See where you land in that journey. Next, I want to know if you are able to celebrate your victories. If you have that ability, that beautiful ability to recognize every time you do something right, every time something goes right. You know, I managed to do 2 Zumba classes this week. Yay. I haven't done it for so long. 2 weeks is so good. Now, there's a thing here when we allow ourselves to celebrate even the little things, even the little things. Every time we celebrate, our brain understands we did something right. And that dopamine release happens in a level that makes you feel good about it. And if you feel good about it, your brain will want that feeling again. And then you go and do it again. Now imagine if every single day you could celebrate 1, 2, 3 little victories. They could be the simplest things in life. They could be the simple fact that you managed to, for example, fit in a digestive tea during the day, or that you managed to drink your water, more water than you drank yesterday. You might have not achieved your 2 liters or 2.5 liters of water, but that's okay. Instead of feeling bad about it, you can say, oh, no, hold on. I doubled my water intake this week. It's twice as much as I used to drink before. Celebrate that. I managed to go for a walk. I managed to not lose my shit when I had that stressful situation at work. I'm really proud of how I reacted to that. All those little things, I can guarantee you that if you go to bed tonight and you think, what are the 3 little things that I did today that I can celebrate? You are going to find something. It's very rare that we have a day that we cannot find a little victory. Now, once again, how are you training your brain? Are you training your brain to feel good about the right things that you do? Or are you training your brain to feel bad about the things that you shouldn't have done? It's like mopping that wet floor. You're just focusing on the problem. So, celebrating your victories, where are you from 0 to 10? That's one thing that keeps you motivated, keeps you focused. That's why it's so important that make it to this list. And beyond food, what's out there beyond food? How's your sleep quality? Reminding you that sleep is super, super, super important for sleep because it's the time of the day when your body can reset. It balances your hormones. And those hormones are going to affect your hunger, your sense of satiety, your sugar cravings the day after. Not to mention that if you're not sleeping well, you're waking up tired. And remember that a tired body craves for sugar, craves more energy. So there is 2 sides of the story here, and they're both very important. There is a very interesting study that shows that a study done with nurses, which is very sad because nurses are such beautiful people and they are giving them their all to help us, but they have very, very harsh lifestyles, not sleeping at night, not being able to access fresh food in the middle of the night, vending machines in the hospitals. It's a whole problem there. But it shows this study was particularly focused on the sleep, and they measured their hormone levels for hunger and satiety, so leptin and ghrelin, and they noticed that they were higher after shift work. I mean, one was higher, one was lower. Yeah, because one tells you to eat, the other one tells you to stop eating. How interesting is that? That if you're not sleeping well, maybe that could be one of the problems that I'm not seeing. I'm doing everything right, but I'm not sleeping well. Interesting, hey? Next one, physical movement and leisure. Time to look after yourself, time to sweat it out, to release those endorphins, to feel great about yourself, to smile. Sometimes it feels really good. I mean, if you're lifting weights, you're probably not smiling. You're most likely grunting and making faces. But if you're dancing, if you're doing yoga, if you're doing Pilates, it can have such a sense of feel good. How are you feeling? How much are you moving? So if you have a sedentary job and you're not walking, you're not working out, give yourself a note towards 0 wherever you feel like you are. But if you feel like you're moving every day, a decent amount of time as well, because 15 minutes is not enough when we spend 12 hours sitting down. If you count between commuting to work, staying at work, commuting back from work, sitting down to have lunch, dinner, breakfast, sitting down to watch TV and wind down. That could be more than 12 hours a day sitting down. So do you agree that if you have 12 to 14 hours sitting down and then 8 hours sleeping, laying down, 15 minutes of walk, of exercise is just not going to cut it. So be realistic. Ask yourself and be honest with yourself. How much are you moving your body? There is this saying that I love that I always repeat that goes, if you don't use it, you will lose it. If you don't use your body, if you don't use your muscles, if you don't use your brain, you start losing function. So it's very concerning that our society is so sedentary, even for people who are actively working. You know, some people are changing the world out there, but using the brain, but still sitting behind a computer. Yeah? Okay. And let's go to the next one. From 0 to 10, how would you grade yourself on the subject body? The first one, love and respect for your body. I'm not talking about acceptance necessarily, because acceptance is a tricky subject. We can love and respect our bodies and still want to change it. And it's okay as well if you want to accept yourself as you are, as long as you're healthy. Okay, there's a fine line here. But regardless of acceptance, do you respect your body? Do you love your body? Are you able to recognize how amazing your body is and the fact that it allows you to do every single thing that you do every day? Care for your family, have fun, feel pleasure, regardless of where this pleasure comes from. Your body allows you to live the only life that you have. So if you take body image out of picture, isn't our body a gorgeous, beautiful, amazing thing that deserves love and respect? It's like if you had a very expensive car and you knew that if you crashed that car, you wouldn't be able to get another one. You can try to fix it, but you may or may not be able to. Wouldn't you drive so carefully? Wouldn't you make sure that you put the right petrol, that you take your car for service? We're talking about a material good, and we often give more love and respect to this sort of acquisitions, as assets, if you will, than what we give to our body. That could be concerning. Even if you want to change your body, even if you're not happy with your body image right now, if you don't love and respect your body, you're going to be coming from a place of hatred, of disgust, of disappointment, frustration. And where do you think those things are going to take you? It's going to push you further and further away from your goals. I know this is easier said than done, and I'm not expecting you to wake up tomorrow with a whole different view about the world and about your body. But try to pick yourself in. Try to observe your language around body, the things that you do, the things that you say, the things that you think, especially when you're talking to other people. Are you able to take a compliment? Or you find yourself explaining yourself every time someone says, "Oh, you're looking beautiful today. Oh, you're wearing gorgeous clothes. I love your hair." How often do we just reject that? "Oh, this dress of yours is gorgeous. Oh, yeah, but it was very cheap. I found it in Venice." It doesn't matter. Learn how to say thank you and own it. You deserve receiving compliments. You deserve to feel beautiful. You deserve to be complimented. We shouldn't be complimenting people on body changes. This is a very delicate subject. We never know what's going on behind the scenes. I had cancers. I had patients that went through chemotherapy, and because they went through chemotherapy, they lost weight. And they told me, I never heard so many compliments in my life. Little did they know that I was fighting cancer. And this is so sad because our society is just so blind, because we were conditioned to believe that a skinny body is a healthy body and a bigger body is unhealthy. And this is not true. So we shouldn't be complimenting people on body, okay? I'm not in favor of this. Try to police yourself as well when you're doing that. Because you never know. It could be depression. It could be medication. It could be cancer. It could be many unhealthy things. It could be anorexia. It could be bulimia. You name it. And on the other hand, how many beautiful, gorgeous, energetic, healthy people that we know that are a bit overweight or they're a bit above what we consider skinny, healthy, normal. There's no such thing. And these people are great. They're killing it. They're going to the gym way more than most people out there. But they might have, I don't know, hypothyroidism, a different body type. They might have a tumor in a gland that don't allow them to lose weight. So let's deconstruct this idea that we have to comment on body. But if someone ever compliments on your body and you think that you deserve that, and you're not going through something, less than ideal, own it. Jesus, I went crazy on that one, huh? I'm very passionate about it. It really gets me. We have a lot to change, a lot to learn as a society. Last one. What's your ability to listen and trust your body? When I say listen to your body, is understand that different days will have different needs. Some days you're going to need a little bit more calories. You might, I don't know, be about to get your period, for example. Or you might be sad. And when we're sad, because we have a dip in dopamine and serotonin, your body tries to pick that up. And to pick that up, it asks for a little bit more food, carbohydrates-based food mainly. Have you ever caught yourself like that? Have you ever noticed how your hormones actually your hormonal fluctuations ask you for something? And it's not necessarily chocolate. It's not necessarily ice cream. Because on that day, if you woke up early and you understood, I'm a bit hungrier today, I'm going to have a bigger breakfast. I'm going to have a little bit more carbs on my breakfast. I'm going to do oats. I'm going to eat bread for breakfast. I'm going to have eggs, avocado, egg, and I'm going to have a fruit after. Instead of like, oh no, I cannot eat that much. It's too much food. But then later in the day, you're craving chocolate because you didn't listen to your body in that morning. It's crazy. When you start listening to your body, you're going to start noticing how we misunderstand those signals. Sometimes you have a headache, sometimes you're tired, sometimes your body is asking you for you to say no, but you still say yes. Someone invites you out, there's drinks after work, someone in your family needs a hand with something, and you just go and say yes, 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 because that's what we're conditioned to do. We have to help everyone, we have to please everyone, and we ignore our own body. Sometimes we have period pain. And yes, unfortunately, we still, struggle with a lot of companies not, allowing you time off for that, especially for women who have endometriosis and other, and more painful periods. But on those days, sometimes it's the weekend, for example, when you could do with staying at home and drink a tea and make a hot water bottle. Listen to your body. How are you on that scale, from a scale from 0 to 10? And this is going to result in a beautiful, complex wheel that is going to show you what is lacking, what is missing. So let's say, for example, your wheel is far off from getting to 10 in every single aspect. Well, we have to work in all of them. We're going to pick our battles. Stay with me. We're not going to do everything at once, huh? Okay. But some of you might notice that your will, it's beautiful, gorgeous. Everything is right. but one column. And that's going to be your gap. That's going to be your bucket that you need to throw out or fix it. Because you can have everything, but one of those columns might throw you off. Remember that wheel? That's going to be a bit wonky. That's what it's going to be like. This is not going to turn. If you get to a point where it's roughly like this, notice that it's very strong colors in the middle, so I'm confident about what I'm doing right, but not always getting 100%. You know, you can see here a little 10 here, it's out, the 10 here is out, the 10, the 9 here is out. This is normality, okay? And I don't ever expect seeing a wheel that is 10 all round. If it's 10 all round, you probably have some sort of, you're obsessed about health. You could be even in the orthorexia spectrum. Sorry, I forgot the word now, which is when you're obsessed about food, eating healthy all the time and exercising all the time. And this is not a positive thing. So I expect to see a few gaps here and there. This is being normal, okay? But that wouldn't stop your wheel to turn because there's still harmony. And consistency is better than perfection. So grow out this wheel slowly, build on it, start focusing on that, fill one gap at a time. And that way we're going to get further and further out towards perfection, but not aiming for perfection. Okay, we aim for perfection, but if we don't get to perfection, it's absolutely fine because that's human, okay? How to get there? How do you get that wheel that is beautiful and it's all colorful in the middle and there's only a few gaps here and there? Don't go for shortcuts. We spoke about that yesterday. Draw a step-by-step strategy. So you're going to be smart about your gaps. You're going to set realistic goals. If you're not cooking at home, if your cooking at home is 0, don't expect to go from 0 to 10. Be realistic. We aim for 3. When we reach 3, we aim for 5, and so on and so forth. We need patience and consistency. That's very important because things are not going to change overnight. And if we don't have patience, we cannot keep consistency because we end up giving up. And if you're having trouble working out what's wrong, call for help. Sometimes we don't know what to do, and that's absolutely fine. I'm sure that here in this group, there's going to be accountants, nurses, teachers, IT specialists. If I needed to do any of these things, I wouldn't know where to start from, and I'll have to reach out for help. If our car breaks down, we don't try to fix our car. We'll take it to a mechanic. It's absolutely fine to ask for help, okay? And don't forget to enjoy the journey. I love this picture here. It's this gorgeous little girl who cannot yet ride a bike. She has those little support wheels there. But look at her happiness. Do you think she's having a good time? She probably is. Have a good time. Enjoy your journey. Enjoy the learning process. Don't think as much as the finish line. Think about the journey, like if it was a marathon. Yeah? Enjoy the way, every step of the way. And what I want you to do for your homework is to finish your workbook and complete the proposed exercises. There are 3 steps. I want you to take 3 steps at a time. So based on your will, what are the steps that you're going to take? What are the gaps? And tomorrow I'm going to share some practical tips and also share with you an invitation for us to work together. And that's absolutely fine. It might be the right time for you. It might not be, but it's fine. Come tomorrow, regardless, we're going to talk about practical tips. All right. I'm going to stop recording now because I'm going to open up to share what came up for you, how your wheel is looking. And some people might find it a little sensitive information. So let me stop the recording.